So on today's episode, we have our very special guest and our first guest. Some of you may know him as AT Keto on Instagram, and some of you may personally know him as Ashley. We'll be talking all things keto, obviously, keto and fitness, keto and carb cycling, and most importantly, the ebook.
Hi.
So if Ash introduces himself.
Lovely intro, Lauren.
That's a really good intro.
Right, so what should we start with? How you basically started your journey. Obviously, we know why, because you wanted to lose weight. But how did you hear of keto? Because obviously it's predominantly American, Canadian, whatever. How did you hear about it? And did you have any like medical health issues as well? Or was it simply just for weight loss?
I'll tell you what, I'll first start off by saying thank you for inviting me. I feel privileged to be the first guest. It's a wicked little concept you guys got going on. Couldn't think of a better 4 people to talk to. So yeah, now that soppy stuff's out of the way.
Gonna cry.
No, I'm honestly really appreciative. This is my first podcast ever, so it's all new to me. So it's really cool. So keto. Technically I started keto back in January 2019, but it was a bit of a flop, to be honest. I didn't really have the sort of knowledge, understanding of it. It was more of a lazy keto approach. It was like, I don't know, something stupid like going to McDonald's and getting sausage McMuffin without the muffin bit and thinking I was keto. It's just ridiculous things like that. Just not focus on the fat side of things. It was focusing on taking the carbs out, which now I look back at it, it's not keto, that's just low carb. I didn't really think of fat being as important as it is. To me, it was just sort of protein and keeping the carbs minimal. And yeah, that was sort of January time. So that was 2019. I had a bit of a success, not massively, because obviously I was just sort of on and off, didn't really understand it that much. And I didn't really sort of grasp the whole sort of mental side of it all. And then sort of fast forward to, when was it? Sort of May 2019. And I resigned from my full-time job to pursue my production company. And along that time, I kind of sort of delved into sort of the fitness side, because I had this sort of free time, as it were, or the time that I could dictate. I wasn't at a sort of 40+ hour a week job. I could do what I wanted to do. I could invest time into the gym. I could invest time into researching certain things that I liked. And keto was one of them. And how did I can't even remember how I got into keto in the first place. It must have been like an American YouTuber or something. I think it was either sort of Thomas Delore or Keto Connect, something like that just sort of twinged or like sort of tweaked in my head. And yeah, so May, I quit my job, focused into it, and then I just started researching keto, YouTubing keto, books, keto. And I think I sort of had a trial run in sort of June, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool. I can sort of implement this. This is not bad. And then I'd say probably from July 2019, it sort of went from there. And yeah, haven't looked back really.
You've done so well in just a year, so properly you've been doing it, say, just over a year. Because you've done so well.
Thank you. I'm sort of, but I'm coming from this isn't my first sort of weight loss. You okay there? Sorry, Amy's in the background. She just cracked open a can. Mm-hmm. This is my first weight loss journey. This was my second. So my first weight loss journey was back in 2012, 2013 on a low carb diet, which I lost 110 pounds within, it was a year pretty much. I started in August 2012, and then August 2013, I have down 110 pounds, which is about just over 7 stone. But I didn't have any nutrition, I didn't have the sort of knowledge. It was literally, what's a scale saying? And I've sort of realized now that it's not about the scales. It's about how you feel mentally, how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis. Are your clothes baggy? Being able to walk, not being out of breath. Like all these, the little things are the big changes, if that makes sense. Like throughout this whole lockdown, my weight has been so up and down, but my clothes are sort of getting baggier. So I'm just sort of so close and throwing the scales out the window, but I haven't. I'm just using them as a tool. It's just sort of how I'm like feeling mentally. I'm taking measurements more often than I'm sort of weighing myself. And like clothes are a massive indicator. There's clothes that I'm wearing that I haven't been able to wear for like sort of 5-6 years, and it's just an incredible feeling. So that to me is better than, you know, saying that you've done sort of 6 pounds, you know, this week or 2 pounds that week. So yeah, so that's how I've sort of, like I said, it's not my first weight loss journey, it's my second. But this one is more, not just a weight loss journey, it's more of an overall journey. Like the mental side of everything is just, I don't know, I just feel more relaxed. It's not like you're not like pressured, or you're not.
It almost feels quite normal in a sense. Like you see it more of like a lifestyle now. It doesn't feel like a diet that you have to like think
100%.
about. It's
Totally.
It's just you. It's a lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are days that I feel like today, for argument's sake, I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner today, but I'll make something, whether it be sort of, I don't know, chicken wings or something like that. It's, yeah, you do have days where you're thinking, oh, what should I have today? And you want to go for the quick and easy option, but at the same time, you're like, nah, it's not. You're like, you just make it work because it is part of your lifestyle, and you sort of, the discipline that you sort of install in yourself is just, it's out of this world. It really is. And the self-belief, I mean, you probably know it as well, Shan, when you have the sort of, well, everyone on this call actually, you sort of have that weird, like I don't know, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but you look back and you're thinking, wow, like this is what I've done. Like you look back and you sort of pat yourself on the back.
I did that, like,
yeah,
like if you give yourself a massive, like,
yeah,
you almost got to like gas yourself up, and like we all deserve to gas each other up and ourselves up, because we've all done like so well. We've all come from similar backgrounds, and we've all done things for like similar reasons. But sometimes you look back and you just like, you actually realise like just how far you've come, but like not physically, mentally, I think, because although I look different, I'm a completely different person, like mentally, to where I was like a year and a half ago. It's crazy, and which isn't actually a long amount of time to change. But yeah, we've all done so well.
Yeah, completely. Anyone like look well and just think, oh my God, like what was I doing? Like what I was eating, what I was like, I think a lot of it is self-love. So Joe, you're talking, Ash, about like you're going to go and make yourself a meal. Like, yeah, there's the quick and easy option, but actually you're doing yourself a disservice by getting that quick option, because the actual like and again, I think it comes back down to like mentality, is like actually taking the time and the discipline to cook that meal from scratch for yourself. Like that just gives you so much more.
But we've all got this in us though. Like there was something that within us that sort of clicked, and it just goes to show that like everyone's got it. Everyone can do it. Like us five on this podcast right now, we've all sort of done something that's, you know, outside our comfort zone. We've basically, it's so hard to explain, but when you kind of get to grasp of it all, it's so empowering. It's just like an amazing feeling that you have the power to do basically whatever you want. In a sense, you can change your life. Like Shannon's saying, 18 months, that's nothing. Like I'm 28 years old, and 18 months compared to, you know, 28 years or whatever it is, it's just amazing. No, it's not, exactly. And you can just do anything you put your mind to.
It's also that kind of like you've given up the most addictive food group as well. Like it's not as if you've just given up fat, which like a lot of people are scared of. Like you've given up and your mentality has completely changed towards that sugar craving, which they do say is just as addictive as something like cocaine. So like you can curb that straight away, and not many people can. Like as soon as I mention keto or low carb to someone and you say to them that you don't eat this and you can't eat that, it's literally like the world's going to end.
Shock horror. Yeah,
exactly. Like even when you say, oh, you can't eat sugar and all this, they just think that you just live like this so mundane, dull lifestyle. And it's like, no, there is a thing like sugar-free sweeteners. We still have sweetness, but we just don't have the sugar. Like it's just expanding that knowledge of there is something different out there, and you just don't have to rely on carbs, and it is the most addictive food group, and to change that mentally is pretty damn well good achievement, I think.
But it's just a weird stigma around it all, isn't it? That like, oh my God, you're getting rid of like carb. You don't have that many carbs. So how do you survive? What about pasta? What about this?
Like,
what about
what's
bread?
your fuel? And it's just like, well,
yeah, and
Oh, what about your arteries? You're going to clog your arteries up with like fat. That was like,
especially when you mention butter to them as well, butter and cheese. It's like, oh my God, like I'll have bread, but don't put the butter or mayo on it. And it's like,
I'll have margarine. Yeah, like, that's not good, honestly. If you could see what they put in margarine, but
even something like utterly butterly or something like that, like, or just what is it, the one like Botoli and stuff, like it is full of shit.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah, but even other things are just full of vegetable oils, like things that you wouldn't even think would be.
Like Elmley.
So a lot of the butters are mixed with like refined oils.
And buttermilk as well.
And buttermilk.
Tom was cooking some burgers and he bought some, like, you know, those plastic cheese slices, and I was like, oh, go on then, give me a slice, I'm just going to snack on a slice of cheese. And then I looked on the back of it and it was just like full of crap, and it was full of like palm oil and just like rubbish. So
like 20% cheese.
Yeah, it was literally just like plastic and milk. So it's made me so much more mindful, I think, to just like of what I'm actually putting in. And just because it's low carb doesn't mean it's like any good for you. Like double checking packaging when you can.
I think there's a massive difference between like whole food nutrition and the most extreme forms of like dirty keto, where there's no like conscience about the food that you're actually putting in, as long as it's
exactly. That is the sort of main, so when I started back in January, that is that I wasn't thinking of what I'm putting in. I was just thinking, is it hitting my fat? Is it low carb? Is it, you don't think, oh, well, it's got, vegetable oil in it, or it's got this in it. And it sort of just doesn't work. It's not going to be sustainable if you're going to allow that, because you're just going to pollute your body with God knows what. I mean, last 2.5 months, I've taken a conscious effort in eliminating rapeseed oil. And because I've just been looking at loads of sort of studies about, what it can do to your gut and how potential toxic it is. And I'm noticing a massive difference in my gut health already, just eliminating that. Unfortunately, rapeseed oil is in most mayonnaises, so it's quite difficult, but...
including Hellman's, which was...
exactly.
And every vegan mayo, but...
Is it? I didn't know it was in...
Yeah, unless you make your own like avocado oil one. Yeah. It's literally in every single one.
No, I'm not brave enough to make mayo in it just yet.
Oh my God, I made my own mayonnaise once and I was like, oh my God, what is that? Sorry, bleep it out. But oh my God, it was horrendous. It literally just tasted like vinegar.
You gotta have so much patience though, because you got to whisk it, like you have to whisk it while pouring oil in, haven't you? So you've got the egg yolks and then you pour, whether it be olive oil or avocado oil, and you literally just got to whisk for however long. I mean, it'll be a good arm workout, but do you?
Hate
do you not
it.
like
Can't stand it. I tried so hard, and I just can't. As soon as I get that vinegar taste, it makes me heave. I have salad cream.
Oh my God, I love
I
mayo.
don't care for the keto players. I cannot stand mayonnaise. I even bought the Hunter and Gather one. I think it was the chipotle one. Oh my God, I literally smelt it and binned it. I didn't even try it.
Oh,
I love the smell of it. I'll try and find it, but no, it's not like, I just can't stand it. Even with just like,
it'll probably be like that out of date gym jams that you got given.
Every imagine life without mayo.
Really?
Why keto's so perfect for me, because like forever, like since I was young, like mayo has just been my source of choice, like even over ketchup. And
I started at like ketchup was my go-to when I was a kid, and now I'm transition. Well, I would say probably mayo is probably overtopped ketchup now for me in my adult years.
Thing is, I can have them together to make kind of like a burger sauce.
Special sauce, yeah.
Yeah, but I just can't have mayo.
I just love condiments.
Thought of it makes me feel sick.
I've been doing olive oil dressing, to be fair. So that's sort of whether it be like garlic oil or garlic olive oil, sorry. So just getting a salad. I mean, my salads are nowhere near as good as Anna's, but just literally just drizzling a bit of oil over them, and that
Good
sort of
garlic
sorts me
one
out.
or rosemary or chili one, like it
Yes.
really makes a difference. Yeah.
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 100%.
The best salad dressing, by the way, is literally just lemon, but
Lemon and olive oil.
marinate your onions, like cut some red onions up and then squeeze loads of lemon juice over it and just let it sit for like 5 minutes and then pour it.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, that sounds nice.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm.
I'm
You'll
really
never-
into halloumi at the moment, though. Halloumi is my thing at the moment. Ever since Michelle told me to cook halloumi in butter/ghee, honestly, I haven't looked
Why
back.
was you not doing that to begin with? You was doing it in oil, weren't
I
you?
don't know. I was just living a lie. Literally, I was just cooking it in a frying pan with nothing. It would just get burnt.
Oh,
I know. And then, and then I just put ghee in it. Ghee in a little bit. I think it was like a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of ghee in the frying pan with chopped up halloumi, and oh my god, it is amazing.
It's so hard not to eat a whole block of halloumi though. Like, really difficult.
oh, I used to. Whenever I used to finish work quite late, I would just go to M&S and just get a block. And just, I think it was like 700 calories. And I was just like, oh, I've earned that over all the walking I've done. And I used just to eat a block. The only thing I don't like about it, though, is that it just goes hard so quick. Like, you need to have it when it's gooey, like when you go to Nando's. But then as soon as you get to the last piece, it's like rock solid.
I just hate cutting it open, and all of a sudden, all this wetness just comes out of the packet, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake! I don't know what other word to call it, but it's all over the chopping board, and I'm like, oh, I've got to wipe down the chopping board now. But yeah, that's no problem.
Oh, you do it over the sink?
It's actually a marinade because it has mint in it. From that's why it's
I didn't know that. That's something every day.
because they make it in Cyprus. Like that's where all of the halloumi that's imported is from, and they have to like marinate it and preserve it as well.
Yeah.
I'll think about it next time I cut into it.
Right, so shall we move on to the probably don't know the most exciting part, which is Ash's ebook.
Thanks.
We're so
That little grin.
What do you want to know?
I mean, I've read it, so I mean, I love it.
What do you think, Sam?
I thought it was really good, and like, I bought it because although we've been speaking like a lot, and we've got our group chat, and we talk all the time. No, I thought it was really good, Ash. I think the way you've laid it out, like, it's really methodical, but it's like, I wish I had something like that when I first started, just like a guide that's really easy to understand. And it's from personal experience as well. Like, there's not many personal experience ones out there. So yeah, I thought it was fab.
Thank you. I didn't want to go for the whole do it like this. When I had the idea of it, I set out as this is my ebook the way I started, and if you want to do what I've done, then so be it. But I'm not telling you this is how you do, because everyone's different. I mean, what I've done might not work for you, but it was just sort of, here are my tips that help me, and try and implement, 1 or 2, or if not all of them, into yours and see how it goes. But it was fun. It was tiring. Like, I think with loads of countless nights, loads of spell check, loads of drafts, and it was really fun. And it was quite, how should I put it? Like, it was cool to sort of lay it out, because I haven't really sort of laid it out in my own sort of way as I have in an ebook. So it was good to see how I've sort of started and how I look back, because there were certain things that I forgot myself, and it's actually sort of reminded me of what to do and how to do it. And it sort of helps me in a weird way to look back on how I started and what I'd done, and sort of give me friendly reminders of, this is why you're doing it. You're not doing it for anyone else. Don't worry about whatever people are thinking. And I mean, because we're probably all been there where you're worried about this, that, and the other, and it's just like, you don't need to worry. Just do you, basically. Like, do what you want to do. Don't worry about whatever anyone else thinks, because it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It's your life, and just do what you want to do.
And there's no kind of rule book either. Like, it's your journey, your story. It's how you've got to how you've lost 100 pounds. Like, no one can really tell you you've done anything wrong. And like, there isn't only one way to keto. Obviously, this way has helped you lose the amount that you've lost. So there might be people out there that have kind of like tried and then failed, like how you did initially. And then it's just good to have like a good perspective out there and just be like, oh, let me read his book. He did it this way. And it just gives people the confidence to try again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can look back at failures and think, oh my God, look, like I've done this, so there's no point. But then you can look back at them and think of them as lessons learned. And that's what I like to look back on. Like, January sort of up until May was just, to me, it was a failure, but at the same time, it made me learn to do things differently, because it's, you know, there's no point in sort of dwelling on, there's no point in me doing it. I failed once, so I'll probably fail again. So what if you fail again? Just keep on doing it until it works for you. So
it sounds cheesy to say, but it's almost like, oh my God, it sounds so cheesy me saying this, but it's almost like there's no it's like, it's not a failure, because where you've like come along this journey to do things not so right, and now you've hit the nail on the head, you know where you are, like you've got good nutrition, like mindset, all of that. You needed to go through those parts to get to that. 100%. So that's all, like, it's part of the journey. Like, I mean, I was exactly the same as you, like when I first started, and I was eating like whole packets of pork belly because I was like, I just can't. But then like I really reevaluated my situation. So I feel like it's kind of important to go through, well, not important, but I feel like everyone kind of stumbles off and starts like that.
Is as well, like, the only time you fail is when you give up. Think about every successful person, how many times they've had to fail, and the most successful people tend to be the people that have failed the most, who are hurdle the most. So it's a really good perspective to have, and I think it's a really perspective to take in a book as well, because typically all these like diet books and, you know, self-help books kind of try and give you like prescriptive, do this, where what you've done is like just laid the groundwork and like told people these are the foundations that I've used, and then I've built my own tower, and here's how you can lay your foundations and you can build your own tower your own way. No,
exactly, spot on. Yeah, I mean, and there's a little bit that I like that I did was friendly reminders, and it was sort of a friendly reminder to what I used to look back on, and it was certain things like, you know, the scales doesn't determine, you know, your self-worth, or you're doing this for you. It all begins with, it starts with your mindset and how you're feeling, and it was like sort of friendly reminders that I used to keep on telling myself when I first began, and then I still tell myself to this day, really. But yeah, there was that little page of just sort of friendly reminders. I think, I don't know, it's about 12 or 15 that I just sort of whacked in, because they sort of helped me. And if I can help just one person sort of start their thing, then mission accomplished, really. I mean, that was just what
You've already probably done that. You've probably already helped so many people.
It's a good feeling though, isn't it? Like you help yourself, but then at the same time, you're helping others. Like, all of us here, we get sort of DMs, don't we? Just saying, oh, you know, how'd you do this or how'd you do that? Like, and when someone comes back to you, like, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks later and goes, oh, I've done this. And you're thinking, like, you feel happy for them, because you're like, you know, I helped that person and they done all the work. And you're just like, yeah, it's a wicked feeling. It really is. It really is.
Have you had any criticism or just positive feedback on it at all?
No, I haven't had, not yet. Touch wood. I haven't had any criticism. I'm waiting for it. I don't know. Just yeah. I'm just.
Don't know what they would have to say.
I'm just waiting for criticism, because I just sort of always want to get better than, you know. I don't think anything's ever perfect, and I'm just waiting for, I don't know, one criticism. I think.
What could they really say though? I mean, are they going to criticize one of your recipes and say something in there isn't keto?
Yaz said that she didn't like my buffalo chicken wing recipe, and I was like, "Who?"
Well, that's her shit cooking then.
Who doesn't like buffalo red hot sauce? But no, she was more like sort of just taking the mick that she doesn't like Frankfurt hot sauce, but Frankfurt hot sauce is banging. But yeah, I haven't had any criticism just yet, but I hope not after this. No one will sort of come at me in my DMs.
I'll just caused this now.
I'll just delete.
I mean, I'm surprised that we haven't had DMs already, because some of the things that we've said in the previous episodes have been maybe maybe worthy of DMs from certain groups, but luckily not yet.
I just thinking, like, I think everyone has the same thoughts, but we're just, we're putting it out there. We don't care.
It's not really speaking facts though, it's just speaking an opinion. Like, we've all got an opinion. I'm pretty sure they've got opinions on keto as well, having not tried it. Everyone's got an opinion on keto, they haven't fucking tried it.
We're gonna have to, like,
Not even fucking opinion.
when we go back, we're gonna be like on Lauren's bits, like she just not say anything, so people like
She's like, beep, beep.
It's gonna sound like a lorry reversing. Beep, beep, beep. So does Amy do keto with you as well, or is she just kind of like
No, she does keto as well.
Eats what you eat? How much you lost?
How much have you lost? 2.5 stone. In about 10 months. But it's and body composition is just like, for both of us, is a massive change as well. It's just crazy. But I mean, it's safe to say I'm the cook in the household, so I do all the cooking, which I love doing anyway. So she does the cleaning, she cleans everything. I just do the cooking. So
you do the messy part.
I'm literally like there'll be like about 10 pots and pans left in there. I'll be like, I cooked, so you can clean. So I will cook, and then she'll and when I was doing keto, it was sort of easier for both of us, rather than, because I'm not going to cook carbs. I mean, just sort of a bit silly if I was doing that, because when I started out, I'd just be like, the temptation and stuff like that. So she joined in, and she's like lost loads, 2.5 stone.
Nice when you can do it together though, because like, I mean, when Tom
never tried.
Yeah, so at the beginning when I started last year, I was just absolutely fully addicted to sugar, and I was like, there's no way I can have any sugar in the house to make this work. So he did it for 2 weeks with me, and he lost so much. So he started reintroducing carbs again. But recently he's been starting having like keto or low carb dinners with me, and he's been really enjoying it, and it makes it so much easier to like do the food shopping, do the cooking, and I don't have like chips and like things that I want to eat that are in the oven. Like, it makes it so much easier.
There's also like I always get sort of DMs now and again going, so you haven't had carbs for more than a year? And I was like, no, I've had carbs. Like, I went to New York last year in October, and we literally, I mean, sometimes I'd be keto and other times I'd be carbs. I mean, during lockdown, I was 70% keto, 30% sort of not caring, because it was just, I couldn't be bothered. Like, in all fairness, like, there's people who are like, just like, if you're keto, that means you never have carbs. Like, you just implement it the way, if you want to have, a cheat day, have a cheat day. It doesn't matter. You're not going to ruin everything that you've done. I mean, I would say the first 4 weeks or 6 weeks of doing keto, you need to sort of not have carbs, because obviously the whole sort of transformation from a carb full body to a fat fuel body would be detrimental if you did have carbs. But after that, I mean, if you just had like a sort of carb refeed, it's just all about calories in, calories out, really, as Lauren says.
Macro queen.
That's it.
Bit of a harsh subject, calories. But I think we all went through that stage during lockdown of not eating keto. I mean, I know I did it for the first month, and I know I lost my weight pretty quickly, to be honest. Like, I've been keto almost like 2 years now, but I've maintained it throughout. But some people think that having those cheats are really like bad for your mentality, like you've given in and oh my god, you've caved into this and that. But in my opinion, it's more of like you fed that craving and now you can get over it. And unless you're going to binge, then some people, one of them goes one way, for someone it can go the complete other way and they can't get back on the wagon. But I always find that I can get completely straight back on afterwards, and I'll just feel so much better getting back on it, knowing I've just got it out of the way, and I'll be so much more strict as well.
I compare it to a low calorie diet, and then like you'll have a cheat day. It's in a way like similar. Like, you can have more calories. Like, it's not going to be detrimental to your weight loss. Like, it's just, but I think there's a perception that carbs are just going to make you balloon.
It's more about the calories anyway, because a lot of people are finding now that the thyroid hormones, and that's like what is regulating like your weight mostly. That when you're in a calorie restriction for so long, those hormones get out of balance, and so you're going to end up lowering your metabolism at a steeper rate than if you'd done it more slowly. So where we're talking about kind of like eating a bit more, so maybe eating to maintenance, and I know that we've talked about that in our group chat about the like carb refeed days and stuff, that they're probably more helpful for in the long run, rather than doing strict calorie restriction that will end up just messing up our metabolism in the end.
True. That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
They call it metabolic confusion. So you'll have your high carb days, then a medium, and then a low. And then you'll go from like calorie restriction, obviously a safe way, not like toddler calories, like 1,000. And then you'll have your maintenance on a weekend, but that's like zigzag calories. So you're kind of just balancing it out, but you are confusing your metabolism, but in a good way, because your body's like, oh, well, now I'm doing this, but now I'm doing this. And it actually works. I used to go like Monday, I literally used to do it throughout the whole week. And it works. It might not work for everyone, but it works. And that's obviously what you're doing at the moment, Ash, with your weekends, high carbs.
I do think I'm going to go back to 30, like I'm going to do a keto sort of straight cut after this, but so I'm doing 5 days straight keto at a 35% calorie deficit, and then on Saturdays and Sundays I'm doing a carb refeed to maintenance calories, so the difference in calories is just purely made up by carbs, so protein and fat still stay the exact same, and training in the gym is just mad. Like honestly, it's just lifting heavy. It's just like, it's obviously the glycogen restoring in my muscles and stuff like that from the carbs, and it's wicked. But I don't know what it is. It's just there's something that I just want to go back to keto lifestyle. Like the carb refeeds are brilliant, and I'll implement it like any other tool. But I think after this, I'll be looking forward to just sort of doing a sort of straight, my keto tracker, like I call it, like I have my whiteboard, and I just sort of do 30 days. And if I'm after the 30 days, if I'm feeling like a cheat day, I'll have a cheat day. If I want to go for a longer period of time, I'll go for a longer period. It just depends how I feel. But yeah, no, the carb refeeds are good. I'll be interested to see, because I took measurements and I took my weight and I took my gym log down, so how much I was sort of benching and lifting and stuff like that. But I can already tell my strength is just sort of coming on leaps and bounds, which is wicked. But it'd be good. I think I'm on day 20. I'll have to look at my whiteboard in the kitchen. I think it's day 20, so I've got 10 more days to go, and then we'll see properly of the ins and outs. I have had a few more carb refeed days than normal, just implementing sort of training days, and I've noticed that strength training days is better on carb refeed, but then on sort of volume training days where you're sort of doing light weights but high intensity, keto all the way, which is strange. It's actually quite interesting, so I sort of like to delve a bit into that a bit more.
So I was going to say, like, do you think they're not enjoying, or maybe enjoying the carbs but being mindful to go back to keto? Do you think it's due to like that it's a temptation, or is it like the glucose levels that you feel? Because I know that if I do keto for like 30 days straight and then I have carbs, I can feel like the sugar and the carbs like running, and I always feel like a bit sick. But by having like a small amount of carbs, maybe like once a week, and me and Lauren have talked about this, like almost like a carb tolerance.
I feel like we all sort of have our limits. Like last week, as you guys know, probably, like I came off plan for a few days where like it should have been my wedding, and I took it to way too far, and I just had like all the cocktails and I had all the crap, and I like hold my hands up to it, and I had an amazing time, but I did not the next day. It was absolutely awful. But I was like, before keto and low carb and like sorting out my sugar levels, I used to get like hourly sugar shakes, and like every single morning I was like having blueberry muffins, then like an hour later I'd have to have something else, and I was constantly like feeding my body with sugar, And I started to feel like that again last week, and I was like, oh my God, no, I'm not going there again. And now I'm probably back into ketosis by now, and I feel so much better for it. Like my body just responds to it so well.
Yeah, that's why I want to go back. I just feel sort of it's just clear, and sort of the clarity behind being like keto and stuff. Like I'm surprised that my carb refeeds haven't sort of gone into sort of, I don't get bloated or anything like that, which I thought I would, but I haven't. But the keto lifestyle just sort of fits me, and I like keto foods, and I've gone X amount of time without bread and pasta and stuff, and I don't mind going a long period of times, because you sort of, what's the saying, you eat to live, you don't live to eat, kind of thing. So if I'm gonna have my sort of avocados, my bacon, chicken and stuff like that, I'm happy with that. Like the carb, this is just sort of my carb, like it's just an experiment. Like Lauren sent me a video and I wanted to try it, and tried it. I'll go back to keto. It's just you just experiment with things, just see what works for you.